Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of March. I hope you are well. I'm using the Night Sun Tarot for you today. So, we do these readings differently to the way that we do the main monthly ones because we're looking for the lesson. What this is essentially is an exercise in perspective. I think that there is wisdom or a lesson contained within every experience or interaction that we have if we're open to seeing it, and often we're not because we get bogged down with day-to-day shit. And so, whilst on reflection, we may at some point in the future, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, be able to see the point of why we were in what can be quite challenging energy. Right now, we don't see it at the time. We walk around in a fog feeling kind of persecuted and like punished by the universe. And so what I aim to do here is look at the energy that you're in at the moment and then pull 3 cards to see why you are in this energy at the moment, right? What is the lesson? What is being shown to you here? Sometimes it's trying to teach you something about yourself. Sometimes it's it's trying to clear something out of your life or trying to bring something into it. Like, we won't know until the cards hit the table. And we'll close out with 3 cards of advice. But the idea is that it helps you kind of pull back and detach from whatever is stressing you out right now, so you can see the point from it. It's kind of breaking it down into manageable chunks, so see the big picture of things. Suddenly what's in front of you doesn't seem quite so significant as it was before. You move past it, you can grow to be bigger than it. So I hope that that makes sense. It's something that I've used myself personally to great effect over the years. So I hope that it does the same for you. Can I have 3 cards for Virgo, please? Ooh, there's the first one. We have the 7 of Wands. We have the 8 of Swords. For Virgo, please. And we have the 3 of Cups. Okay, so relationships are feeling a little bit sticky for you at the moment, I would say, Virgo. We've got the 3 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here again. We've got the Ace of Pentacles sitting behind the 3, which is interesting. So the 3 of Pentacles is kind of diverting my attention to someone else. I'm going to go this way, look at other people. I do feel like for some of you, it's probably by no means all of you, but certainly for some of you at this point, what you are doing is avoiding something at the moment. I'm going to pull some extra cards on this. I think I'm going to use this deck as well. Your focus seems to be very much on other people at the moment. Now, whether this is other people in the work that you do or other people as in friends or family, you know, whatever it is, it does feel at this point that you are kind of focusing on other people to avoid looking at something that is showing up in front of you. Right? The 7 of Wands it's a protective energy, but with the 8 of Swords, it's not like your thinking is trapped. It's almost like, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to look at it, I don't want to acknowledge it. I'm going to focus on other people instead. You know, you seem to be swerving around something. So tell me about this 8 of... We've got the 4 of Cups here. And we've got the Chariot. Yeah, again, very much. Like, are you in a situation that's kind of triggered you a little bit here, Virgo? I wonder, because we've got the 6 of Cups at the bottom of the deck here. Like, this is a card of the past, but this is a card of the past that exists inside your own head, right? Your memory up here. We've got the 5 of Swords underneath that, and then the 3 of Cups again, right? There's an externalization going on here a little bit. It's almost like, you know, you've been triggered by something, you're aware enough to have picked that up, and you know that you could respond very badly to this if you wanted to, But instead, what you are doing is going, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm actually going to throw all of my effort into something outside of myself at this point, whether it's people, or whether it's a project, whether it's something that I'm trying to build, and I'm just not going to look at it, because the sting of rejection feels like it's kind of strong here. But with this Four of Cups, but then there's the Chariot, right? Yes, I've been rejected, I'm stung, I'm going to focus very hard on something else instead. I'm going to achieve some other kind of goal instead of addressing that which is feeling quite uncomfortable to me at this time. Tell me about this. Thank you. Five of Wands. You know, it could be that rather than being triggered, actually you just fallen out with someone. Right? The Five of Wands is a card of conflict. And that can be petty conflict, or it can be, you know, quite serious issues that you're having with someone. And it feels like you're diverting your attention onto something else. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I certainly don't want you to take it as a bad thing, but I feel a great level of investment in something other than what this situation is here. There's a way of defending yourself, right? Perhaps there's a way of not falling into old patterns with things. Certainly, that's quite interesting. More for this card. We've got the Devil card, and we've got the Page of Wands in reverse here, right? So the Devil card speaks to toxicity, but it also speaks to materiality. Somebody pissed you off by being really shallow. Somebody pissed you off by making a really shallow judgment of you. I think perhaps they have, but I don't feel like you're allowing it to take up space in your mind right now. It's like kind of tunnel vision. I'm just going to pretend that there isn't these things either side of it, because if I actually stop and look at them at this point, if I actually address what this issue is, I'm going to flip my biscuits, and I don't want to do that. Right? Yeah, we've got the Three of Wands with the Three of Swords and the Five of Pentacles underneath here. Like something's really set you off, or has the capacity to set you off if you let it, and you're not letting it at the moment, right? You're investing elsewhere. Let's have a look at the lesson here for you. Like I said, I don't feel like this is a bad thing at all, but it's certainly a thing. What's the lesson here for Virgo? What's going on with Virgo? There's that Three of Pentacles again, with the Ace of Pentacles again, and the Knight of Wands. So there we have that. We have the Lovers card, Gemini, in the middle. And one more card, please. That's two. What the hell? Right. Okay. We've got the Five of Cups and we've got the Ace of Cups here added together, make the Six of Cups. But that's interesting. I like the way that you've broken this down, Virgo. This is quite evolved. This is very evolved, actually, of you. We've got the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck here. This is you taking a different tack, right? And I said the avoidance of the way that you would have done things in the past. You're trying not to do that. You know, because you're Virgo, your card is the Hermit, right? When things really upset you, you tend to snap back into yourself. You tend to retreat to that place of sanctuary, which is, you know, your cave. And you don't peek out again until you've dealt with whatever it is, you know, internally that this has kind of caused in you. But that could be very damaging at times, right? Certainly self-sabotage is indicated, but you know, with your propensity for overthinking and things like that, I actually think that this is gloriously positive, although it felt like quite difficult to start with. I think that this is showing a real leap in the way that you deal with the outside world, and certainly vexatious spirits who might be troubling you at this time, because we've got a sense of a pattern being broken here very, very strongly. Right? The Three of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands there. What we have here is you dealing with the situation right in front of you in a way that helps you continue to move on, right? Continue to keep going here rather than going back into a state of stasis, kind of like, no, fuck off world, right? I need to hide in here until I'm feeling kind of sound again. We've not got you doing that at all. And I do feel like there's this absolute knowledge that at some point in the past, this situation, whatever it was, kind of turning up and hitting you the way that it has, would result in XYZ behaviours which you have identified as damaging for you. And so, in order to avoid falling back into these old patterns, going back to your default way of doing things, I feel like you're actually tunneling and just being like, no, I'm not thinking about this, I'm not doing this, I'm not allowing my brain to kick in. The card that runs on from that one is the Nine of Swords, which is the card of overthinking. It's the card of mental difficulties of any description, even if that's anxiety, insomnia, everything right the way up to mental illness actually. But it's like, you're not giving the devil the opportunity here to escalate this to a Nine of Swords for you. It's just not happening. You look at this Page of Wands there, right? It turned up in the reverse for you. You are not feeding the fire that the devil requires. And the devil can be a situation, the devil can be other people, or the devil can be that in yourself which is still wounded, is still hurt, and responds to triggers in these ways, And there's a bit of a fight going on with it. It's absolutely a fight going on with it. But you're winning, Virgo. That's what I'm saying here. You're winning because you are changing the way that you deal with things right now in the present. You're choosing to take your energy and redeploy it elsewhere. I see the Pentacles as energetic currency, right? So whatever you can invest becomes a pentacle. Time, care, effort, money, love, attention of any description. It feels like you are starving this situation and the corresponding trigger within you of any oxygen whatsoever, picking up your pentacle and redeploying it somewhere else, right? With the Knight of Wands, it could be somewhere that's more fun, but it's certainly somewhere that's more useful to you right now in the present. We have the Lovers card next. Like I said, this card of Gemini, but it speaks about conscious co-creation. It talks about consent and free will. And those are two things. You're not the only sign to have got both the Lovers and the Devil together. Who was the other one? I think it might have been Aries. They're basically the same card, but they're coming from a different perspective, This is all about feeling trapped and the removal of your free will, the removal of your consent, but it's an illusion because remember that the devil deals in illusions, right? It's making you feel like you are trapped. It's making you feel like you can't do X, Y, and Z, even though the reality of the situation is actually completely different. This is about pulling your power back to you and reminding yourself of the power of your consent, right? I honestly think consent is such a huge foundational level, cornerstone of spirituality actually, where you consent to feeling like this or like that or the other, When you withdraw your consent, everything changes. And this feels like it's what you're focusing on here. Like, I do not consent to be triggered into overthinking, triggered into feeling shit about myself, triggered into starting to, let that critical voice start telling me what a piece of shit I am anymore. I'm not going to do it. It's a very conscious control, very conscious. And then we have the Five of Cups and the Ace of Cups here together. Now, this is interesting because, like I said, these two together make a 6, right? But it feels like you're kind of rewriting a narrative of sorts here, Virgo, right? And it's absolutely conscious of who you are now and not who you were. And the triggers belong to who you were rather than who you are, right? So it would be possible for you to spiral down. A previous version of you would have spiraled down, retreated back into your shell, hidden in the cave, all of these different ways of describing that, retreat into, internal sanctuary. and brood and overthink and maybe even feel resentful, you know, but certainly feel that sense of a loss of something that is yours, you know, whether that's your security or your comfort or, you know, whatever it is. But it's here with the Ace of Cups. And this is amazing because this is this way in which you're kind of breaking through previous conditioning, you're breaking through trauma, you're breaking through all sorts of things. Like for some of you, it will absolutely be related to personal trauma. For others of you, it may be something a little bit more subtle and a little less, you know, awful. But it's the same notion of breaking through a pattern that you had previously been involved with, and a pattern that you didn't feel like you had any control over whatsoever. Now you do. And you're showing yourself this. This is very strong, Virgo. Holy shit. This is warrior energy right here. I love it. Here for this all day long. Give me some cards of advice for Virgo, please. Thank you. Amazing. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the Hanged Man. I've got hair sitting over my nose. And one more card for Virgo, please. That's not one, for fuck's sake. That's not even two. Oh shit. So we've got the Queen of Swords. Well, actually, we've got the Star, we've got the Queen of Wands, and we've got the Queen of Swords there. And this card that tried to jump but didn't quite make it is the Three of Swords. And how fitting is that there, right? It's trying to come up and it can't, because you are controlling this situation now. You are controlling your triggers, you are controlling your stresses. Like, your coping mechanisms are very different now because of everything that you've experienced, and there's no desire to go back to where you were before. And you know what I'm talking about, Virgo, you know very well. We're not going back there. You spent a long time going to the gates of hell and then finding your way back again. You'll be fucked if somebody's going to just trigger you back into that space. It's not going to happen. Now, we've got the King of Wands and that Hanged Man there, and this is huge because the King of Wands is a very active expression of, you know, masculine energy. The masculine energy is all about doing things, right? And the fact that it's the one suit, it's even more so. So you kind of, you know, is King's Fire of Fire with the King of Wands? I don't feel like he is. I feel like he's Fire of Earth or something. Anyway, right. The point is, it's about what you do. It's an extremely active card, and so if you need to do things outside of yourself, if you need to pick up your attention and focus very, very strongly on something else at the moment, then that, at this point, is a very, very good thing for you, and you should continue to do so. Right? Don't give yourself an opportunity to slide back into that default of overthinking, because this is a situation that could well have sent you that way, were you feeling so inclined. But this Hanged Man here is really quite interesting. It's a card of Pisces, but it speaks about seeing things from a different perspective. And I think that you do. I think that you are detached enough now to be able to see that, well, to see everything. To see yourself with all your triggers and your stresses and the things that make you feel like you need to retreat, but also the ways in which other people project, the ways that other people are reckless, thoughtless, you know, and maybe even that other people in other situations actually have had no malignant intent whatsoever, and yet have still managed to set off your tripwire here, right? But to be able to pull to the side just a little bit and go, I understand that this is me responding to a situation that isn't maybe really there, right? I'm going to give myself the space to do something else while this is all simmering down again, right? It's, again, very evolved. But then we've got the Queens here. Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords here with the Star card. Now, the Star is a card of healing, it's a card of hope, but it's a card of vision for the future. And I do feel like this is a version of you, Virgo, that you want to be able to embrace and be more like permanently. Don't get hung up on the fact that they're queens and kings and stuff like that. This is all about the expression of energy, and we have both masculine and feminine energy within us, and we need to be able to balance those out. So my phone is ringing. Yeah, this is where you want to go. This is who you want to be. You do not want to be at the whim of this, slavishly devoted to the devil anymore. It's about the Lover's card. It's about what you consent to, what you want to have as a part of your life, and where it is taking you, because it is taking you somewhere. And this Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords is really quite interesting, because neither of these are your queen. Like, your queen is the Queen of Pentacles, and she is quite slow and she's quite nurturing. She's very interested in self-care and stuff like this, right? And that would be relevant for you. I absolutely would want that energy to be present in you, but it's kind of something that you're carrying around with you more naturally now, Virgo, anyway. But this is about aligning what you do and what you think and what you feel, but aligning what you think and what you do with where you want to go. And this is huge. This is talking to a level of control over yourself that you have not felt much in your life before. So even if you feel like you are struggling a little bit at the moment, even if you feel like this is testing you, and it probably is a little bit, you're winning here, Virgo. You're actually doing the thing, and this is empowering. Right? This is breeding a new level of resilience into you. And it's showing you that you can do exactly what you want. You don't need to be a slave, right? Whether it's to the devil, or whether it's to your subconscious, or whether it is to your past. You can let it go, you can release it, and you can keep doing whatever funky stuff you are doing, right? It's kind of huge, beautifully understated, as Virgos, everything to do with Virgo readings usually are, but powerful nonetheless. And I'm really proud of you. If nobody's told you today, Virgo, I am proud of you, because this is top tier shit. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope that this was helpful. Right? Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.